Right, been busy. I've put the old forks back in. Haven't done anything with them. Just normal set. Just so I can get the calipers done. Um, the front wheel in. Waiting for the new bits of the front forks, the tubes, and the bottom end, which will be like that. So when you buy this, you buy the tube, and this is already attached to the tube. This is the inner tube. They're upside down forks, so they go that way. So I've just put the old forks back in just to complete the build. When I get them, obviously the new ones, I'll fully refurbish the forks, put them back in. But today to carry on, I'm going to do these. Got the seal kits in. These are the front calipers. They're all cleaned, washed, and prepared. So we'll get on with that. Right. So here we have a nice bag of new seals. 2 seals. There's a thicker one at the bottom. Some rubber grease. New pins and R-clips. New bleeds. New covers. New everything. So I won't bore you with showing you how it goes. We'll just put it on a time lapse. And here we have one all done. It's got new bleeds, it's got new spring R-clip and pin, and inside it's got all new seals, all lovely, ready to go. Just one more to do. Okay, so I'm going to go through the last one. This is the last side. I'll go through that with you. So we've got, as you can see, we have a small pot, 2 big pots. So the very first rubber that I'm going to put in is in a big pot. Fits nicely in a little slot. We just have to feed it round, and it pops in quite nicely in there. So we do the second big pot. Just feed it in. One thing to make sure that everything is pristine clean. And again, number 2, that's in there, lovely. Now the small one. Just feed it in. Gently feed it in. There we go. Up you come. And that's the 3 bottom ones in. Now the top ones are much easier to get in. They fit in another little groove here at the top. That's one. That's 2. And that's 3. So we've got the double sets in there. Now you've got to be careful because they can twist. You can get them with their twist. So next thing is liberal amounts of rubber grease around the faces of the bearing, the faces of the seals, and then we just gently massage them in. The pistons in. You can just feel them when they go past the ridge. There we go. And the last one. In. Pistons in. So we put a little bit of rubber grease over the joins where the seals go that join the 2 together, and I've got that upside down now, never mind, let's give it a go. do that. Can hold them together whilst we just put the housing bolts in and just start off, do them finger tight, because we want to make sure that the seal between the two is actually seated correctly. So we'll just do these just to hold everything in place. There we go, and then we can see there's a tiny little gap, and we want that to close up nicely. And when we tighten it up, and these are tightened to 21 Newton meters, which I'll do once we're done. And I like to go from outside, inside, inside, and then we have it. It's all back together. I've got to take out the old bleed nipple, put in a new pin, final clean up, and we're all done. Right, so where are we at? So there's the clutch hose pipe, that's all connected down there. I've got some brake lines in, wheels in, just temporarily. I've got the calipers on, so of course I'm wheeling the wheels in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop it down off the other stand, change the orientation of the strap so it lifts the front of the bike, drops the back. So that's what's next. Okay, it's getting a bit late now, so I've just adjusted the stance on the old ABBA stand so that the front is up in the air a little bit. Got a leak in there somewhere which I've got to find, which is a pain because it means it's got to strip a lot of stuff down. Front calipers all done, lines are in, just got to bleed them, obviously get new brake shoes, and I'm just starting on the rear. So I've managed to get one piston out at the rear, need a bit of a clean up. Got to get that bugger out. So that's it until I can get that out. Welcome back. Got some, it's freezing cold. Got some goodies turned up. Can explain about the rear caliper. I've got new brake pads to go in the front. I'll show you what we got. Okay, so we have two sets of front brake pads and the rear pads. Also got, this came yesterday because it's a bit of a bugger. It's a brake bleeding kit and pressure kit. Still on the arms. So rear caliper, this side was completely corroded in. I had to get a piston removal kit with a slide hammer, and it took me about an hour to get that out. These are pretty corroded, so I need to, this side I've already done. That's all cleaned up very nicely, and that's the piston for that one. This one I managed to get it out, clean it up a bit, but I need to stick it in a parts washer along with the piston to get bits and pieces off, and then I'll start to rebuild the brakes. Okay, we've got everything cleaned up, all nice looking. Just going to change the blue cloth, give it a final clean, and we'll start assembly. Okay, so everything's had a final clean, everything is ready to go. Just laid everything out as it was go, and we'll do it on a time lapse. And there we have it. It's all put back together. Seals are in, pistons are in, and torqued down to 21 newton meters. So now it's just a case of sticking the brake shoes in, the new brake shoes, and installing it on the bike. And here we have it, successfully connected to the bike. On double checking, these were 30 newton meters. These were 26. So it's all in. It's all ready to go. All ready to be bled, and we have back brake. Okay, so before we do any bleeding of brakes, I'm going to do the front end. Put the brake shoes in. Make sure they're all done in, buttoned up, all very nice, and we can do all the bleeding. So that's the clutch, the rear brake and the front brake. We can do all the bleeding at the same time. So before we start taking these off, putting the brake pads in, I'm going to give the brake discs a clean up with some brake and clutch cleaner. Okay, so I've removed the caliper, and we need to get a set of brake shoes put together. Insert them in the caliper. Obviously making sure that the friction pads are facing inwards. We have these little, I'll take them out after. So we have the pin. Make sure we locate in the shoes correctly. And the little R-clip securing the pin. Now we have the protective cover, which is secured in place with two tiny little cap screws. That's one in there. Get in, you bugger. Okay, second cap screw, and that just pushes down on the brake pads to keep them forward, and that's that installed. Now we just need to align those. Excuse my back. Bolts in. And I'll just double check via the manual at what torque setting these are. So the actual bolts that hold the calipers together, like when you split the calipers into two halves, are an Allen head, and they are done at 21 newton meters. Perfect, that's one side done. Just need to do the other side. And there we have it, both calipers installed and ready for bleeding. So the next thing we've got to do is to rig up the bleed kit and bleed all the hydraulics.